Hello, and welcome to Saturday Morning Cartoons, the weekly podcast that revisits, reviews, and ridicules some of the world's weirdest animated series. I'll be your host, Dave Trumbore. Joining me today, as always, from the DC area, Sean Paul Ellis. What's good, man?
David, I'm great. How about yourself?
Oh, man, we're talking about Sean's pick this week, which we'll get to in a second, so we'll see how that turns out for him. Also joining us, completing this fantastic trio, Matt Barron. What's up, man?
What up?
Yeah, good to see you guys. So, without further ado, I'm pretty much just going to turn this one right over to Sean, who's going to take us into the history of... Sing it.
Dinosaurs.
Oh, I thought you were going to sing it.
Oh, wait, did you think I was going to say, like, dinosaurs?
Yeah, definitely.
Like
I was waiting for the guitar, too.
Pretty.
There it is. This theme song, so we posted the theme song on the website. Definitely check that out, because it's only like a minute long. First of all, the intro explains the entire show, everything you need to know, which we'll talk about in a second.
It's nothing but exposition, guitars, and just the phrase "Dino Saucers."
Yeah, that's all it is.
Sung in like an '80s glam rock fashion.
That's so good. It'll get in your head immediately.
It is so beautiful.
Oh man! But
so much.
If you've pieced it together by now, Dino Saucers will be the topic of today's conversation. And to give us a little bit of a history on that, we're going to turn it over to Sean because it's his pick. So take it away.
Oh man! Well, this wonderful show was co-produced by the United States and Canada, and it was created by our friends at Deke Entertainment. Deke.
Thanks, Deke.
It was originally aired in the U.S. in '87, and it went for a total, again, this is a reoccurring theme for all of these shows that we watch, a total of 65 episodes.
Magic number.
Okay, this blows my mind. And it lasted one season, and it was broadcast during '87 to '88.
Well, and here's the thing: it was only like, I don't know if I had this in your show notes, and I apologize for this. Matt and I were talking about it offline. One season, fine. It was literally 3 months. It was from September 14th to December 11th, I believe, of '87, and then it ran a little bit further in '88 as syndication. So
yes. Yeah,
so you're talking...
And it ran daily.
Yeah, you're talking every weekday for 3 months in the fall. Dinosaurs.
That is a lot of dinosaurs. It is crazy. Now, I think the thing that Dave and Matt and I had talked about is that we want everybody to please keep in mind that this aired in '87.
Right.
So this is before a lot of, I guess, noteworthy cartoons that people, as we discuss this show, and they're just like, oh, that sounds like a very similar element to this show. You are correct.
Yeah, there's a
and
ton
you
of
should
stuff.
Think that way. You should think that. But the interesting note is that this show came out before a majority of those programs.
Yeah, so unless they crossed producers or crossed writers or something along the way. Yeah, it's really strange though. It's really strange to think it came first.
So you can find a majority, the 65 episodes, you can find all 65 of them on YouTube.
Yeah, we'll post them up for you guys.
If you are like, man, I need to watch them like not on YouTube for some reason, you can purchase the first 21 episodes on Amazon.com.
I got to cut in again because this is completely my fault. I gave Sean erroneous information. This was on their wiki page. I went to Amazon to try to check them out today to see if I could watch one episode for $1 or whatever, just because I couldn't find them.
Oh, really?
They are totally not available anymore. I don't know why. They had them up for
oh my god.
Yeah, they had them for
I saw them up too.
Sale.
Yeah.
Wait, did you actually see them?
No, I saw the link that because I was just kind of googling stuff about this.
Yeah, doing our research.
And there is an Amazon link to. It basically just takes you to the page and says they're not available.
Yeah, it's on like IMDb.
You'd want to take
it's
that
everywhere.
link down.
Yeah, you would think. Well, maybe there's not a lot of people clamoring for dinosaurs and complaining.
I guess interestingly enough, I'm looking at the page right now, and you can see that there are. It says season 1, and it has the first.
Is it 21?
It has the first 21 episodes that are up and they're available, and it just says next to each one of them, it just says unavailable.
So does that mean?
If you want, you can add that to your watch list, and I guess whenever they become available, check it out. But in the meantime, man. What a bummer.
Yeah, what a bummer. And I take the onus for that when I set Sean up. So
no, it doesn't matter. Hey, listen, kids, do what I did. Just watch them on YouTube. Don't pay money for this crap.
Definitely do not. And Sean even suggested this one.
Like really, don't pay any money to watch this show.
Well,
Right?
let's get in and tell the people what the hell this show is even about. So,
Oh
I don't
god.
know what, if you hear the word dino saucers, I don't know what you think. Maybe you think saucers like, flying spaceships. Dino is pretty obvious, I would think. You're not too far from the truth there. That's really all it is. Dinosaurs from outer space. It's pretty much what it is. So of course they come to Earth. Now they don't exactly crash land here. They kind of gently hover down, as we see in the intro.
They
And
just sort of like show up.
yeah, they just show up. They make friends with some
Hey, what's
kids.
up, guys?
Only this group of kids. This group of 4 or 5 kids. And yeah, nobody else knows about them really. They just have their own kind of like weird adventures. So
This is the amazing thing is that throughout the series, they just show up, and like people are like not even like people are either phased by the fact that like oh my god, dinosaurs,
Right.
or they're just like, oh, it's a dinosaur.
oh,
like,
it's a dinosaur. It's
like I
completely
get it.
different.
Like it's like this world is so bizarre because you would think that other people would have one reaction or the other, but people have such like people have such different reactions to seeing these like dinosaurs, and they're just like either they're just like, oh my god, this is amazing, or they're just like, let me see how I can swindle these dumb dinosaurs into doing something ridiculous. And it's so crazy.
So we'll get into that in a little bit once we get to some of the plots, and especially once we discuss the characters. We're going to give you guys a bit of a description of like what these things kind of look like, because they're not just dinosaurs. We'll get into that a little bit, but the basic stuff you need to know. This show follows Dinosaucers, the good guys, against the bad guys, Tyrannos. Okay, Tyrannos. They're really pushing the creativity on these names here. They're basically both just kind of like humanoid dinosaurs, so they're not like, they're not the T-Rex from Jurassic Park or from Dino Riders. They're kind of like human-shaped things that look like dinosaurs. All right, so they've all got different attributes and characteristics, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But for whatever reason, they land here on Earth.
All these attributes we should mention are just dumb.
Oh, they're all pretty dumb.
Dumb.
We'll get to them too when we talk about the characters themselves. But basically, they come here from a planet similar to Earth known as Reptilon. Again, really pushing the creativity here.
Yep.
So they're on Reptilon. It's very much a Transformers kind of story where they escape Cybertron. The bad guys are pursuing the good guys for different reasons or whatever. So basically, they bring their battle to Earth, and they make friends. The Dinosaucers, the good guys, make friends with a group of 4 kids that just happen to be out hiking around in their crazy primary colored jackets and matching jumpsuits.
Yeah, in the middle of night,
middle
in the middle of nowhere.
Middle
yeah,
nowhere, just in a mountain at
what
night.
What are these kids doing?
It was like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, but they were like hiking that mountain in like the Arizona desert or something, and just like, oh, the Dinosaucers showed up, and they shook my hand, and they gave me this cool ring, and now I'm a secret scout. So that's what you need to know.
If you're thinking to yourself,
Yeah.
wow, that does sound a lot like the Transformers
Right.
plot, you are correct.
Yep.
And I think in some ways you can definitely say, yeah, they totally ripped this like good versus evil, escaping from their home planet, and they crash land on Earth, like trope that is present in a lot of these.
Yeah.
Like we saw it in Dino Riders.
Oh
we
man,
see it in
it's everywhere. Like
Transformers.
a lot
it's
of
everywhere.
80s stuff. Yeah, Thundercats even
So
did
many-
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, if you're thinking, wow, that sounds really similar or familiar, yeah, let's note
that's
that
because
as
it is.
that is the first similarity to another cartoon that you should know. The second one, oh, they happen upon a group of kids and they gave them magic rings. That sounds a lot like Captain Planet.
Yeah.
You are correct.
You are 100%
This
correct.
happened. This happened. You are 100% correct.
I noticed this. I noticed this when I was going over the intro, and I don't even know what the hell time of night it was, but I was like, "You guys, they got the same rings!" I was very excited about this. So
Yeah,
I like
I know.
screen capped both of the rings from the various intros, and I showed them. Now again, like Sean mentioned earlier, Dinosaucers was first. I don't know. I cannot wrap my head around
Captain
that.
Planet didn't come out
Dinosaurs
until
was first.
'93.
Yeah,
This came
6
out in
years later.
'87.
So Captain Planet, if anything, ripped off Dinosaucers. Now, my friends, if you're going to rip something off, do a
Don't
better
rip off
job.
Dinosaurs.
God.
Well, maybe, or it's the perfect plan. I mean, it ran for
True.
3 months. Probably nobody watched it. So,
Except Sean,
It's
apparently.
a perfect source material.
Oh,
Yeah.
I watched the hell out
I
of this
do
show.
remember this show, and I think 90% of what I remember is, again, common theme, common occurrence, the theme song. That's exactly what it was. It's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to talk about the theme song first, since that's our first introduction, or do you want to talk about the characters a little bit?
Let's talk about the theme
Let's do
song
it.
because I mean it's the first thing you're hit with,
Right.
and I mean like
Oh,
the
you are
characters
hit.
are very tertiary in this show. Like they are all forgettable, just doofuses. and it just doesn't matter. Like, they are all just mutants, and it's just who cares? Like, the theme song is the best part of this whole show.
And just the recurring like reappearance of it whenever it during like scene changes or like when a plot comes together and is about to be hatched, like it just. We were the Dinosaurs thing. I'm like, this is great. Yeah. Like, this is making the show watchable.
It really is.
We were talking about like the way that like some of the shows, like how Cops used like that like sexy Cops
voice,
like badge star wipe, where they were just like Cops. Like this, like Matt said, for pretty much a majority of the episodes, like once you get past like the 3.5 to like 4 minute mark, where like they're like we should go do something, and we need to respond to like something that's happening, and like they get in their like their cruisers or their
we'll get into them in a minute
because I love those. God, like they get in like something like some action. They will be in some mode of transportation, going to do something.
It's like a montage,
and then it'll just be like dinosaurs, and then just like fade in the background. I'm like, this is their fucking Star Wipe. Like this is their Star Wipe.
They milk the shit out of that theme song. Whoever made it
so
is not working on commission. They got paid to do that, and they were done. They cut the check, and that's it. Because these guys, I watched one episode. You guys watched like 3. In the one episode I watched, I heard it at least 4 times. At least 4 times, no exaggeration. So,
and here's the thing, that was
piloting,
not enough. It was not enough. I could have listened to it at least another 4 times.
What were you going to say, Matt?
If you were piloting one of those crafts, though, wouldn't you want that music just blasting the whole time?
I'll tell you what, it hypes you up.
I want that in my car playing all the time.
Yeah. And it's easy. It's like 3 notes. It's 1 word. Anybody can remember it, and it really hypes you up. And it irritates everyone around you when you start singing it, unless they join in. It's a good time.
It's my Rocky theme song.
It's a good time, man. It
really
is.
It's my, like, if I need to get pumped up for something, I play Dinosaurs.
I'll tell you what, I got a joke for you guys real quick, and the listeners joining in. Sean, don't you?
I love this joke.
Ruin it because I know you know it. I'm going to ask Matt and see if he gets it. Matt, what would you say is a Dinosaur's favorite dessert?
Oh my God.
A Dinosaur's favorite dessert?
Yes, sir. Favorite dessert.
I don't know.
Oh, it would be Dinosaur Surf. Man, I had been holding on to that for a week since Sean picked this show. I woke myself up laughing in the middle of the night with this joke.
Oh my God!
So that's the level of nerdery we're
when
talking.
You text messaged this to me, I rolled.
I told him, I was like, I prefaced it. I was like, you have to sing the answer. You have to sing the answer. He's like, the fuck are we talking about? So I had to get that out. Okay, all right.
All right.
Oh,
well, that's our theme song.
All right, let's talk about this theme song.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's it. That's the theme song. Now the intro, however, has a little bit more, to talk about. Don't you think? Do you think the intro? Because the intro is our exposition of the entire series. Because once we get into episode 1, nothing is explained. You are presupposed to know exactly what's going on by the time.
Like if you were looking for, we talked about this earlier. Like if you were looking for if you were Googling like in medias res, and you were just like, I wonder what would be an interesting execution of that literary device. Like this is it. The first episode of Dinosaurs. Like. If you didn't pay attention during
the 1 minute intro,
the 1 minute intro,
if you showed up a minute late, you got
you're
nothing.
done. You're like, what the hell is happening? This is a brand new show. I've never seen this before. What's happening?
I messaged Dave this morning when I started watching them, and I was like, "Hey, is the episode like? Did they just not explain anything?
Yeah, we thought we had
is
the
there
wrong
no
links or the
story?
wrong episode numbers or something was screwed up. Or sometimes the way when they produce these en masse, when they're producing these 60 episodes or whatever, their order gets jumbled because they have a football game that comes on a weird time, or they have a holiday on a certain day. So sometimes their release schedule gets jumbled. Nope, not in this case. At least as far as IMDb goes, these suckers are all in a row, Monday through Friday, September through December, and then done. So whatever, man. They just drop you straight into Dinosaur Valley in this first one. So it's a good thing we have that theme song. Matt, do you want to kind of walk us through that intro and kind of how the plot of this thing is kind of laid out? Do you remember watching it?
Yeah. Cool. So basically, from what I can tell, to the 60-second intro to a 65 episode show was that. Basically the Dinosaurs, still the classic, good versus evil. Right. The Dinosaurs and the Tyrannos enlist the help of 4
Secret
Scouts, right. Which is, why even bother calling them Secret Scouts? You might as well just it's the most obvious name for what their purpose is. Yeah, exactly. So there's 4 of them: Ryan Spencer and Sarah Spencer, who are like the classic 80s stereotype white kids.
Yep. They both suck. They both suck.
And then there's Paul and David.
Paul is amazing.
And he's actually
an asshole.
Yeah, David is kind of like a douche canoe, but Paul is he's the first one you see, and it's like he's sitting in a lab in the beginning of the first episode, and I was like, I just missed 5 minutes of this show.
Yeah, it looks like it's just cut to shit, like it's like the editing is all off or something. Nope, that's what it is.
Yeah,
Paul is the only person around there in the Secret Scouts that's like actually doing anything.
And Paul is apparently these kids have like their own crazy base, and Paul is just like, I don't know where everybody else is, but I'm in charge of this giant cutting edge technology in the base. So
well, he wears the glasses, dude. So he's the nerd.
Very true. But so I want to mention how these kids, these Secret Scouts, actually meet the Dinosaurs again. So this is not explained in the show whatsoever. It is explained in the 60
So in the intro, the Dinosaurs land.
Right.
They shake hands with these 4 people.
Which at this point, I need to say, okay.
Like, no exposition, just handshake, hand them over a ring, and apparently it just all becomes immediately evident.
Now put yourself in the shoes.
Awesome diplomats.
Put yourself in these kids' shoes. They're maybe 10, 12, somewhere around there, maybe a little older. You say you're out, you and your Goonie friends are hanging out, walking around, hiking the mountains in Arizona at midnight or whatever. You see this alien spacecraft land right in front of you. Okay, maybe you're not scared yet. You want to go investigate. Cool. The hatches open up from these alien spaceships. All right, these giant, 8 to 10 foot tall humanoid dinosaurs come walking out in full space high-tech body armor. Just come walking
and I can't wait to talk about their dumb body armor too.
And their names and their everything about them. We'll get into that in one second. Now, you would think oh shit, maybe I should not walk up to them directly because they look like dinosaurs. Maybe I should do anything else but just gingerly walk up and shake their hand. And that's exactly what these kids do. And it's not explained at all. They're just whoop, walk right up to them, shake their hands. Oh, I got this sweet ring. I don't know what that means. I guess I'm a secret scout. Let's have an adventure. So on one hand, it's kind of endearing because it's kind of that 80s thing of just here's a crazy premise and you're going to run with it or not, so let's just do it. On the other hand, it's just kind of what the fuck? Yeah, so whatever. So these idiot kids just walk up and they meet these Dinosaurs. Now, we should probably talk about the Dinosaurs and the Tyrannos a little bit. So let's start with the Dinosaurs because they're the good guys.
Here's the thing: is that we spent so much time talking about these dumb, forgettable Secret Scouts. Yeah. That you have to realize that when you watch the theme song, they are the highlight. You think to yourself oh my god, it's gonna follow around the exploits of these Secret Scouts. No, it's not. They stink. Fuck them. They are so fucking forgettable. It is amazing. The Dinosaurs are obviously who the show is about.
Yeah.
And obviously the titular characters. But I mean from watching the intro, I was oh my god, these Secret Scouts are they're gonna be doing all the same kind of work that the kids do from Captain Planet.
Yeah, take the Planeteers and run around.
Going around doing shit.
No, these kids are just basically
Secret Scouts.
Yeah, they show up and they're oh, here's how you get over this bridge. Here's how you turn this thing on. Here's
the only thing I think we should mention about these forgettable miscreants is the fact that the rings that they're given boost their powers. Who cares?
Boost their powers. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
they get power boosts.
Oh, that's good to know because a couple times I was what the fuck? Who are these kids that are just gymnastically launching themselves over rivers and flying into the air? I'm what the fuck? So okay, that explains stuff. Thanks, Dinosaurs, for not explaining that in the show.
But here's the best part about it is that they never use it to they never use it in a combat situation where it would be advantageous.
No,
for
they
them
use
to
it
do
a pit jumping situation.
Oh, I should just jump across these vines.
Yeah.
Shut up. You suck,
just
Sarah.
go back. Everyone go back. We're better off without you.
Give me your ring. You're retired.
But yeah, let's definitely talk about the Dinosaurs themselves because at one point they were going to be. I think there were some toys maybe that came out. They were definitely destined for a toy line.
Oh yeah, so they created Gloob, which is my favorite toy line name ever. They had produced some prototypes for it, but they had never. I don't believe that they ever released the actual, I don't think you can actually buy them.
Okay.
Nor could you buy them. They only made prototypes.
So if you got them, hold on to them. Wait for Antiques Roadshow to come around. Take them on that sucker.
Get that heirloom hour. Check them out.
That's good stuff. Yeah, so our dinosaurs here, they're led by a fellow by the name of Aloe. Not aloe like aloe vera, but aloe like ALLO.
Yeah,
although I
do
need to tell you, Dave, Aloe's wife, her name is Vera. Vera.
Well, there it is.
Yeah, dude.
Yep.
There it is.
Apparently
they have a daughter named Alouetta, which, god damn it. And apparently they have a maid named Gator Maid, according to Wikipedia. I hate this so much. Oh, apparently Aloe is also... I'm reading this for the first time, so this is raw reaction.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Yeah.
Apparently Aloe is the nephew of the Dino Sorcerer and Dino Sorceress, who are the rulers of Reptilon.
Yep.
God damn it. So he's their leader. He's kind of a doofus, though. Would you agree?
Oh, every single one of the dinosaurs
they're all stupid.
is a doofus.
He does say at one point, we'll get into the episode too, they basically are talking about like their pre-existing state, like the de-evolved dinosaurs. He's like, my one advantage over this dinosaur is my brain is easily twice the size of his. I'm like, that's not...
Yeah, but like dinosaurs' brains were the size of a pea. If you got like 2 peas, you're still
good.
a fucking idiot.
Your brain is a pod. That's not
good. You got a snap pea. Congratulations.
Yeah, well done. You're 1/64th of a stir fry. It's not...
Yeah, and all of them were ridiculously stupid.
Oh, they're all stupid. And the weirdest thing about this show...
Well, Aloe was, the leader was pretty good, but
smartest of
the other ones, like the ones that were really kind of like memorable and then immediately forgettable were Bronta Thunder, Bonehead, and Stego.
Yep.
They were the ones that I saw. I think occurred the most in the episodes that I watched. But Stego and Bonehead were basically, just completely like.
Yeah, they're pretty dull.
They were just completely stupid.
They're really dull.
Comically stupid, but it's like that whole like dino-evolving thing that I know we're going to get to later. Yes. You'd think if the, physical features evolve, perhaps the intellect should have been included, but nay.
And you would think, okay, listen, so these are humanoid dinosaurs, right? They're flying their spaceships through space and able to land them, not crash land them, but land them just fine on Earth, and then speak English and converse with these kids, give them a superpowered brain. You would think maybe they've evolved some sort of intelligence. Well, once you start watching the show, and like Sean said, nothing really revolves around the Secret Scouts. Everything revolves around the dinosaur creatures themselves, because you spend a lot more time with the bad guys for some fucking reason that I don't understand. They're stupid. They're all stupid. They can't figure anything out. I don't understand what the hell's going on. It makes me very angry, actually. It's
here's
just,
the thing: is that
salting.
they have developed interstellar travel to be able to travel, because you find out later that Reptilon is on the same orbit as Earth. It's just on the other side of the sun, and so evidently NASA hasn't figured that one out.
I love these little tidbits that I'm hearing for the first time. This is amazing.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it.
So good.
At one point, they're just like, oh, we need to. So I should preface this with saying, episode 65, they send Stego to go grocery shopping on Reptilon,
because they've run out of plot by now.
Because they've run out of it doesn't matter. Ugh, it's so dumb. So they run out of everything, and so they send Stego, and so they're just like, don't use the flying saucer to buzz people's houses and think that they're a UFO. I'm like, you are fucking exposing yourself to everybody. Yep. Also, he is quite possibly if we're ranking this in terms of a hierarchy of how dumb they are, he is one step up from being the dumbest.
It's pretty close.
And they're just like, go grocery shopping. They're like, what's the worst that could happen? Oh my God, so many bad things can happen. Why would you allow? Why would you? You meet the Secret Scouts,
yes,
and you think to yourself oh man, they're gonna have this crazy rewarding relationship with the dinosaurs where they're gonna learn so much. No, it's the other way around.
Yeah.
The dinosaurs
the kids are the
just
ones.
The kids are the smart ones, and they are teaching the dinosaurs basic human interaction about stuff, and it is sad.
So just none of it makes sense. Nothing makes sense. Ugh. So yeah, so we already talked about Secret Scouts. Talked about the dinosaurs. Since the first episode, for whatever reason, gives us a lot of screen time with the Tyrannos, which again are the evil dinosaurs. Let's talk about those.
If you couldn't have immediately guessed.
Yeah, you couldn't figure that one out. And guess who leads them? a T-Rex character by the name of. Go ahead, I'll let somebody else take this because I can't.
Genghis Rex.
I cannot even handle this.
It is so good.
God.
The thing that cracks me up about this is like when you see Genghis Rex, like he's red and it's like just the weirdest red ever.
It's like Red Skull red. It's like very
exactly.
Yeah.
He's the only person that I took, like when I looked at his armor, I was just like, oh my, is he wearing like a barrel? Because it looks like crooked staves on the top of his body.
Seriously,
just co-opted
And then
a
the
barrel.
bottom of his body
It's like a
is
skirt.
like a cod piece with fucking jean shorts underneath.
Well, it was the 80s.
He's like a never nude. Like I was losing my mind every time. I was like, oh my god.
Genghis Rex just blew himself. Anyway.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah. But yeah, the other guys,
bad.
not much better. Now, here's the thing. I had a tough time keeping their names straight. Genghis Rex, pretty easy. But the rest of them, because everybody had like nicknames for each other, so everybody calls him Bossasaur or Bossasaurus. All right?
Right.
So that's one nickname you've got. While these guys are
Or
going
they
on
also
their
call him
adventures,
your scaliness.
your scaliness, they've got all these stupid nicknames. They do this thing, the writers thought it was funny to just add like a saurus to everything. So when they're insulting each other, you're like, you're an idiotosaurus, you're a dumbosaurus, or if something's really big, oh, that's a sizeosaurus.
Well, then don't watch episode 2 because they do it
Even
almost
worse?
nonstop. They do it for like a solid minute.
That's the other thing. That theme song just cuts in whenever it wants. Whenever it's a little slow or a little, whatever, cuts right in. Montage time. So we're going to do that throughout the episode.
Thank God.
Yes.
So for like the first episode, it's Genghis Rex. He's the leader. And then you have Ankylo. He's an ankylosaurus.
Yes.
They have Quackpot, which I can't wait to talk more about Quackpot. And they have Brachio, which is just a Brachiosaurus.
And
so
Staracco. Staracco is my favorite name. Staracco.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love the name. Because when Genghis Rex would say, it'd be like, Staracco, just go do this. And I'm like, whoa, Staracco, that's pretty cool. I like Staracco. I mean, Quackpot, come on.
Crackpot. I mean, we should talk about, because there's this, in the first episode, there's this scene where, like...
Yeah, we'll get into the first episode now, I think, yeah.
The group of them are, like, they are talking about, like, what they're going to do, and, like, they have found some energy source, and they are, like, heading towards it because they want... Like, they don't even know what it is. They have no idea. They're like, we've determined that something is an energy source. They're like, we should go there because clearly it's a weapon.
Yeah,
here's the best thing about that, too. When they're landing, you get a full view of the spaceship that they're in.
This is the
It's
Tyrannos.
a giant dinosaur.
The Tyrannos
giant
fly
T-Rex.
around in a giant red mechanical T-Rex. That's like
And
us.
then exactly.
Well, that's like
That's
us
like
flying
if
around
I drove
in-
around in a car that looked like me.
It's like us flying around in the Statue of Liberty or something. It's just like a giant statue of ourselves, and then we just land, and then a tiny version of it walks out. It's like, wait, what the hell is happening? Just God.
So they get ready to go and do this thing, and like they're all pumped up. Like all the Tyrannos are excited about doing this, and they seriously laugh for like a solid 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's like a wall
to
of
the
evil
point where
laughter.
to the point where it's uncomfortable to watch
Yeah.
it.
But
They're
then
all
it's hilarious because they stop and then start again.
Yeah, and they don't even like look at each other. You'd think like make kind of a joke, like an in joke or like a self-referential thing. No. It's almost like they just re-edit that laugh over the same footage. It's very strange, very kind
And
of
then
eerie.
at one point they all stop, and Quackpot just goes, "This guy's insane," and that's it.
Yeah,
like that was
and like
that was the
stares
button to,
like
jump
stares
out of this.
directly
Like,
at the camera too.
Jesus.
It's really really creepy. There's some creepy
It's
stuff.
like a weird breaking the fourth wall like nonsense. So weird.
A lot of nonsense going on. But yeah, so it sounds like we're jumping ahead in this episode.
It doesn't
Not
matter.
at all.
There's-
No.
it
We're
doesn't
really
make
not
any
jumping
sense.
ahead
Oh.
like
Yeah.
whatsoever. Like
Yeah,
the
we're
giant
jumping
T-Rex lands.
45 seconds into the show.
Yeah.
So at this point, they've all gotten in a mode of transportation and just dinosaurs.
Action montage.
And that's like, yeah, they are all heading out.
And somehow, like Paul, the only like redeemable one of this entire bunch, Paul.
He's the best.
Yeah, he's the best. He like radios to Allo. He's like, "Hey, dude, just want to let you know, Tyrannos are up to some shit." At this point, as viewers, we're like, what's a Tyranno? Why is this kid talking to a dinosaur? What the hell is happening? And he's like, yeah, they're heading to like South America or something. I'm not sure what's going on. And Allo's like, oh, let's see if any of the other scouts are in the neighborhood of South America. So yeah, they somehow like reconnoiter everyone to this one particular area. But we spend 50% of the time with the Tyrannos, 50% of the time with the bad guys. I don't think I've ever seen anything done quite like that before.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: is that like I get what you're saying,
yeah,
and also the reason that I think they're doing it is because these secret scouts are boring as shit.
It's so thin.
These dino saucers, these heroes are dumb as shit.
Yep.
All right, and then the Tyrannos are just like, yeah, we got plans. Like, we got stuff to do.
We're gonna get some ore for some reason.
We're spearheading this episode.
That's
so
right.
If you're on board, like,
just come on with us.
Jump on my giant red T-Rex and let's
just
head out.
Fly into this. Oh, it's like a whispered background. I like it.
That was.
Nice.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Cops. Jesus. So at this point, so this episode is called Dinosaur Valley, correct? Dinosaur Valley.
Correct.
Okay, let's talk about this mess. Now, these are hyper-evolved dinosaur humanoid creatures that have mastered interstellar, well, maybe not interstellar, but at least across
interplanetary
space travel. Right, because they're just in our neighborhood, apparently on the same orbit, just in our shadow, which is the stupidest goddamn thing. Anyway, so they've mastered this stuff. They've landed on Earth. They want to go get their ore. For whatever. They find this like hidden valley that opens up, and there are actual dinosaurs just lumbering through Dinosaur Valley, as you do.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
If you were 1987
dinosaurs.
If you were thinking to yourself, like, holy crap, that's kind of similar to what Dino Riders was like. Or if you were just like, oh my god, Centurions had an episode that was almost identical to this.
Yeah.
Like, you are 100% correct.
The dino
Remember,
craze.
This show fucking came first.
Yeah. They really capitalized on the dino craze of the 80s. My favorite part is how they handled it, though, okay? So, Dinosaur Valley in Centurions, what did they... They basically just found their way back. Well, the bad guy, Doc Terror, didn't he want to use them as, like, his army of dinosaurs to, like, rule the world or whatever? Oh, he wanted to make them into dino robots, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like, the Dino Riders wanted to brain box them.
And then the Dino Riders, the bad guys, the Rulons wanted to brain box them. Yeah.
I don't know what episode of Centurions this came out on, but Centurions did come first, so there is the possibility.
It was early. It was like 2 or 3, so it might have been.
No, it was like only the year before. It was 86.
Okay, but I mean.
So like the next year. So I mean, like, there's no way that while one was in production, one was being actually drawn.
Exactly.
So I mean, the chances of them stealing from one another is like insane. But I mean, just the fact that they have such similarities and like, oh, we came upon this like new world and it's like it's all there. And I mean, it's all Land of the Lost.
And it's definitely Land of the Lost. And even the animation looks kind of the same. I feel like they might have just like shared random screen coverage of dinosaurs in a valley and just like handed it off like, yep, there it is, same dinosaurs.
Yep, there you go.
But I love
Deke
the way
was just like, let's just reuse whatever we have.
Exactly. I love the way that the bad guys see this like golden opportunity though, because they're all identical. Every bad guy is identical. Doesn't matter if you are an actual dinosaur or not. You want to enslave the dinosaurs and use them in whatever your army, your military situation happens to be. Whether it's against the Dino Riders, or against the Dinosaurs, or against humans, that's what you want to use. Every bad guy wants to use these dinosaurs. And Genghis Rex, exactly the same. He looks at these dinosaurs. Here's my favorite part. He sees the valley. He goes, dinosaurs! The old kind! God damn it. That might have been when I was...
That was so good.
I might have been super done with this show at that point, and that's about 5 minutes in.
The thing that kills me too is like I feel like Genghis Rex, like his voice was so stereotypical of like an 80s wrestler.
Yes.
Like the entire time. Like I was losing my mind. Like at one point I just wanted to be like, oh yeah, brother.
Oh yeah.
Like and just bust into a Hogan. I was just like, oh my god.
Well, the theme song could have been used for one of those wrestlers. That would have been pretty good too. But yeah, so now you've got Genghis Rex, hyper-evolved dinosaur creature who wants to enslave his ancestors, basically. Wants to enslave them. To help battle the... So anyway, the dinosaurs, good guys, get word of that, and they try to, like, find the Tyrannos and catch up with them in their place. I loved how the dinosaurs got into this hidden valley. Do you guys remember this part?
Oh, the part where they're just like, oh my god, there's like this giant field with all this stuff, and they're like, it'll take us hours to smash through it.
Yeah, you gotta like bushwhack through it and machete our way through. Nope. Thanks, Secret Scouts, because how do they do it?
It's actually just a fake screen, and you can just pick it up, and they can just walk underneath it.
She said something like they're all air plants. Is that what she said?
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is an air plant?
Look, here's the thing. Sarah sucks, so I wouldn't I wouldn't take anything Sarah said.
But it's just
I feel
the
like I'm
weirdest.
talking about a real person.
It's like, I know Sarah's the worst,
like,
but it's the weirdest thing to watch because there's like all this jungle in front of him, and then Sarah just like picks it up like it's a drop cloth or like a screen or something, and they just walk underneath it for a few seconds,
That's it.
and they're bumping into each other, and they're just walking underneath this ground cover. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Very like something in the writers' room was just like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. They just walk under the foliage. Next, who cares? None of them care.
Doesn't matter.
No, none of them care. Yeah.
So like they get
break out the collars. Time to break out the collars, right?
So yeah, so the Tyrannos like have these like collars, which again is like identical to Dino Riders brain boxing.
Yeah, they're called collars of control. They even have a name for them.
Yeah, it's like they weren't even trying.
No.
It's so like they have like this gun that they can shoot these collars of control like around dinosaurs' necks, and it like instantly enslaves them.
Yep, turns them into dumber versions of themselves who just listen to whatever. I want to give Matt a chance to talk about dino-volving when we get there because he mentioned it earlier.
And so, well, here I'll
lead them into
into it. And so, like, it's one of those things where, like, they get there and they're just like, oh my god, like, how are we gonna get it? Like, Genghis Rex is clearly holding like the control box for all of these.
Yeah, all the collars.
Control collars, right. And so, Allo just says, like, I'll dino-volve. And somebody has to get close enough.
Yeah, and at this point, you're just
to
like,
be able to get it out of his hands. And so he's just like, well, I'll dino-volve. And you're like, wait,
what the hell is that? Has he done this already? What
the hell? Like, no, this is the first time you're being introduced to it, so don't worry about it. And so, like, they're just like, do you really think that that's such a good idea? And as the leader, his words of encouragement are like, well, you won't know until you do it.
Yep. He's like, well, not until we try.
That's a hilarious
plan, buddy.
Exactly.
So, Matt, maybe you should tell us what exactly this dino-volving is.
Okay, so dino-volving is something that the Dinosaucers can do with a little control that's on their body armor. And the first time I saw the outside of the control, I was like, is that the Fantastic Four logo?
Yeah, it looked pretty similar.
I was like,
pretty much.
What is that? Like, somebody's getting sued
on
right
our
now.
planet, this symbol means hope. Anyway,
yeah, exactly.
Stole that from Man of Steel.
But, so, they
swastika.
Basically, too soon.
Too soon.
Whatever.
Where are the Nazi dinosaurs? That's what I need to see next. Go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
Stepping on your toes.
That was episode 54.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, but so like they open up like the little like thermostat control on their vest, like. Push the back arrow, I believe, which must be the devolve button.
Of course, yeah.
The reboot.
Oh.
Exactly. And they go, basically he just turns into an Allosaur, and it's not like a full-size, regular,
like
quote,
40
old
foot tall.
kind
Yeah.
dinosaur. But what's hilarious is it's not like, oh, I need to, take off my armor, or I need, it doesn't grow with you. Nope, just disappears.
Yeah, just folds up into the collar, all nice
disappears.
and neat.
Yep.
It's like the Hulk.
So, exactly.
Yeah. Not even like the Hulk. The Hulk at least shreds his pants and stuff, but yeah. So that now I gotta ask you guys. Maybe you paid a little bit closer attention though I did than this one. At one point they say, okay, so Allo's plan: devolve, look like a regular Allosaurus, get collared, blend in with the other like slave dinosaurs, get the control box, and everybody's cool. Now, at one point, the other guys, the dum-dums who are sitting in the bushes just watching this whole thing, they're like, he's got to do it soon because the dino-volving has a finite like time limit. Did that come into play again, or did the collar that Genghis Rex put on him, did that like negate something?
Yeah, the collar prevented him.
Okay.
Collar prevented him from turning back into Allo.
I'll tell you what.
I guess de-dino-volving.
Yeah, de-revolving. I don't even know.
Ugh.
I'll tell you what. That might be the most intelligent piece of writing in this show because I missed it, but I kind of paused it and I was like, oh, maybe that collar. So thank you for confirming that I'm at least as smart as the writers of Dinosaucers. So that's good to know. Man.
But like, here's the best part: is that like he has this plan. Like Allo has this plan to be able to like get close to it, and then 2 seconds later is immediately like collared and doesn't have control. Like the idea was that like, you wouldn't know. He wouldn't know if he got like maybe he was thinking maybe like if I dino-volve and I get collared, maybe I can override the collar and still get close enough and like totally fake him out. Doesn't work that way.
Sure
like
didn't.
He dino-volves, gets collared, and is just one of the herd.
So at this point, it's up to the scouts, the 2 scouts, and the other idiots to try to like rescue him and save all the other dinosaurs.
Yep.
And hijinks ensue. I think that's honestly the best way to just segue through all the mess that happens because it's just hijinks ensue.
Except I have one quote.
Sure.
Like, Bronto Thunder he is, aside from having, like, the best name out of all of them.
Staracco. I still like Staracco.
Yeah, I gotta go with Bronto Thunder on this one.
BT.
Bronto Thunder, yeah, because they call him BT a lot. I like that as well.
Yes.
So, like, he is like the Eeyore of the group. Like,
yes.
Again, I keep pulling up these Eeyore tropes every time we watch this.
Well,
but, like,
because there's always one to pull up. Yeah.
There's always one depressing shit that's just like, let me complain, and like he falls into a lake at one point, and he gets covered in like stuff, and then he like very like excitedly proclaims.
That was tar.
Yeah, it was tar.
Boiling tar.
No, it was in the
It was when they were swinging on the vines. No. First they were swinging on the vines.
He falls into the river, and he just goes lunch, and they're like, "We don't have time."
No. Hold on. So in the beginning, the kids were teaching him how to swing on the vines. He falls in the tar, and he was pissed about that. But yeah, boiling tar,
right.
He's fine. Later, he didn't just fall into the river. The scout was just like, "Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna trick this idiot into crawling into the river so he can form a fucking bridge, so I don't have to swim across. So I could jump on his...
You have to realize, they have athletically jumped 20 to 30 feet at this fucking point. Like, there is nothing preventing them from continuing to do this shit.
So
and
they lure this
Let's just
idiot.
turn Broadside Thunder into a human dino bridge.
The poor guy. He's like, I don't really want to.
Yeah, they're like, oh, shut up. They're just like,
she
just
tricks
get
him into
down
like
there.
taking a bath. She's like, you've worked hard
survival
today.
is depending on you.
Right.
So like he like his head like goes underwater at one point, and he comes up and he's got like all this like
all the algae and like
algae
and stuff,
like fauna like in his mouth and shit like that. And he just proudly like proclaims, he just goes lunch, and they're like, Bronto, we don't have time for that. And he just goes, and this is my favorite quote of the whole episode. He just goes, this is the only good thing to happen to me today, and I can't even enjoy it.
I know. I was like, oh my god, that's hilarious.
Oh, poor guy.
I hope this spin-off was him just kind of like moping around,
just followed by a little gray cloud.
Yeah. Just like putting a bunch of candles around like a bathtub, and then like a razor blade on the side, and then just going, oh, maybe today will be the day. Like, it was just such a sad guy.
If you want to look for Sean's rendition of that, his DeviantArt rendition, it'll be on our Tumblr page later on. Definitely check that out. It might already be out there. I don't know.
It might be there. It might be there. So it's just so sad. Like, he can't like do it. Like, he just gets so depressed and mopey in just about every episode. And you're just like,
well, speaking of that, I want to give you guys a chance to talk about a couple other episodes that you watched, because I only got to watch this first one. That was plenty for me. As you might have guessed, the good guys kind of win out at the end of the day on the first one.
My only problem about them winning out at the end is that like
they let the Tyrannos walk away.
Walk
away. Like literally walk away.
What?
He's like, well, we'll see you next time, guys. That's pretty much what they did. Yeah, just let them walk.
Yeah,
like Genghis Rex just had
It wasn't like a Dino Riders kind of sneaky getaway, or like a we better retreat and we're riding away on dinosaurs. Nope, it's
next
just like
time, Gadget. Like
exactly.
Yeah.
It was like I kind of pictured when you're like standing at the crosswalk with somebody, and you're awkwardly standing there waiting for the signal to change. Like, that's the kind of walk away we're talking about.
So if you're standing at the crosswalk and a dinosaur walks up to you, just let him go. It's best to just let him go, or shake his hand and get a sweet ring. But I want you guys to jump in and just anything you want to talk about from those other episodes you watched, because unfortunately I missed them. So
okay, you watched episode 2, right, Matt?
Yeah, I watched episode 2, which is Take Us Out to the Ball Game, and
go ahead.
Yeah, I mean. Episode 1 was at least, interesting because, first episode, okay, I'd never seen this before. The second episode was just a sharp decrease for me. It was, just completely ridiculous, although you did get to see a new Tyranno that wasn't in the first episode. Now I can't remember what his name is. He was the one they, called him a warthog or something like that.
Oh, Anklo.
Yeah. So, I mean, you do kind of get to see that there are other, Tyrannos, Denisaucers, but who was it? Stego and Bonehead. What do they go to?
They go to they go to the Houston Ball Diamond.
Astrodome?
Yeah. They go to the Astrodome.
Okay.
Jesus.
I mean, I figured take me out to the ballpark or whatever it was. I just figured ball game.
Yeah.
No.
And so
yeah.
It basically the whole idea of this is that it becomes confusion because the dinosaurs want to learn more about baseball, and so they go to a baseball diamond.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
that's a
where
keyword.
there are thousands of people.
Right.
Okay. And they just they have to just break and enter into the place. Like they don't need it's not like they ask. They're just like, oh, we're just gonna go to the ball diamond. Yeah. Like we're just gonna break into this this major league ballpark, and we're just gonna play baseball here.
All right. That's what you do in your second episode of a series too. Is you get your characters to play baseball.
The thing that I took away as being a impressionable youth is I could just break into shit and have zero consequences.
Just go play baseball wherever you want.
Why
and
not?
Maybe I'll meet a dinosaur.
And so the Tyrannos become confused because they want to procure diamonds.
Of course, I was waiting for it.
Diamonds are the most precious thing that people have. And so the reason that the Tyrannos feel that they are not successful is because they don't have any allies. And so what they want to do is they want to procure diamonds in order to purchase allies and make them more successful in fighting the dinosaurs.
It's such a weird
because the dinosaurs have the secret scouts as allies, and that's why they're successful. I
mean, at least if you're gonna do the good versus evil kind of tropes and stuff, stick to what has worked, man. What is this stealing diamonds to make allies? I'm glad I didn't watch that one. But anyway.
Yeah, no, you saved yourself 20 minutes.
Boy.
So. Yeah.
So any other gems? Dinosaurs.
No, it just for me it really peaked with the theme song.
Yeah.
Agreed. I watched the last episode.
Yeah, what was that about? Did they wrap anything up or?
No, there was absolutely no resolution to anything that happened at all. It wasn't like there was any definitive end to the show. It's just you assume that after December 11th, 1987, that the dinosaurs and the Tyrannos just continue on in infamy.
Just
forever.
having adventures.
It wasn't even a Sopranos finale. It was just they just rolled credits. It was just a hard bam, we are done.
I like to think
55 episodes cleaning my hands of this shit.
I like to think that they moved to Hollywood and Denver was no longer the last dinosaur. That's what I like to think.
Oh, that'd be nice.
In my dream cartoon world, I think that'd be nice.
So I should say that the last episode was called The Friend.
Oh boy.
And like I said, it's all about Stego going to grocery shop at Reptilon. And so he heads out and he finds this boy in a field playing and he's observing him and watching him, and and then he sneezes, and the boy just proudly proclaims, he just goes, "If you guys are bullies, you're gonna come out and beat me up. Just come on out and get it over with."
Well, good for you, kid.
What? You're what the fuck is going on with this? And so Stego comes out, and the boy is convinced that Stego is an imaginary.
Yeah, he's
dinosaur.
he's like the. Puff the Magic Dragon or something over there.
Yeah, and so he convinces himself
Pete's
of
Dragon.
this, and then goes on a madcap fun adventure with Stego to Reptilon to go grocery shopping.
Moral of the story is dinos and kids are the best of friends.
It was
it
so
always
insane.
Always works out well.
It was and at the end, Stego drops him off and is just all right, well, I'll talk to you later. And the kid's just well, won't you come back and be my friend? And he's like, no.
Oh.
That's it. I was oh my God.
End of series. Nope. Wow.
There's just a bathtub with a bunch of candles.
Oh, terrible.
It's just
terrible.
it's so, it was so ridiculous. This kid, at one point the kid says to Stego, he goes, I have a lot of imaginary friends. And the kid, Stego's just well, where are they now? And he's just well, they all kind of kind of don't hang out with me anymore.
That
They're all
is
kind of gone.
messed up.
And he's like, he goes, and that's kind of why I have to play by myself because none of the other kids want to play with me. And I was like, oh my God, who was working out some personal issues as they were writing
man.
this
There was
episode?
a suicide in the studio, though. That is not good.
Like, I think it was written by, what was it? Bill Fawcett was the guy who wrote this episode.
You gotta check on him.
Bill, what is going on with you that you were like, there's some shit
Bill,
that is going on
if
right
you
now
need to
that I
talk,
need to
we're
work
here.
out.
We're here.
Oh my God, dude. Like, it was so sad. And then just the end where he's just like, well, won't you come back and hang out?
Nope.
No.
Yep, see you.
Later. And that's the end of the entire series.
Jesus. Well, Matt, did you have anything else from the episodes that you watched? Any little gems you want to throw in there quick?
You know, honestly, no.
I love it. You're always like, honestly, no. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that candid response, candor.
Nope.
Yes.
Are we going to recommend this at all, or?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean,
on what grounds, sir? On what grounds?
Yes. I recommend watching the first minute of any episode and then just turning it off and moving on with your
running
life.
away.
You have 65 chances to get that right. So,
I think this is something like, I mean, this show is obviously, it has many faults. I think if you can watch, if you watch Dinosaur Valley and you're just like, okay, this seems interesting, sure, continue on. But just realize that, like, not only is the writing going to continue to, like, be poor and, like, droll and just ridiculous, but, like, the animation is going to get, like, degrade
never
over
get
time.
better.
Like,
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't.
It had that very
gets
like
worse.
1980s Japanese stereotypes, like the flashing laser intro, and
Yeah. Oh, you can tell as soon as you see it. It's very stereotypical. Yeah.
I mean, almost like identical to Cops. Like, the intro is the best part of the entire show. Just watch the intro. If you like the first episode, I recommend episode 65 because it's so depressing. like if you just want to sit there and be like, oh my God, like, things might be going wrong for me, but, like, at least I'm not this little kid in this episode. Like, yeah, sure. Watch episode 65.
Look, I will say this, and I surprised myself by saying this. I will recommend, again, checking out the first episode only because, as we've talked about, there are a lot of elements that you think this show stole from everybody else, when in fact it almost seems like it could potentially be the other way around.
Right.
That, I think, is worth exploring and worth, like, just looking at and keeping in mind that this show, it looks like it preceded those. Some by like 5 or 6 years and some by maybe a year or two. So that, I think, is interesting. So it's almost like they had some decent creative talent around that had some good ideas that just did not all work for this particular show because they were just so batshit. Like, it was just so disjointed and so weird. But they used them for later shows. So that's kind of cool. The show overall, I couldn't watch any more of it. But yeah, so there you go. That's Sean's suggestion for the week. So
hey man, I'm gonna continue to just
Dino it up.
Throw out Dino.
We're
we did Denver last time for me.
Exhausting them rapidly.
I mean, I'm excited. I mean, there's still so many dinosaur-related '80s cartoons. Like, whew, at least the next 5 picks for me are going to be all dino-related.
God damn it! We might have to find a rotating star for Sean. If anyone else would like to join us on the show, please contact us at Saturday Morning Cartoons.
Start sending in headshots for an audio only.
Yeah, exactly. Send a voice recording. Give us your best. Oh, that would be amazing. Give us your best Dino Saucer theme song rendition and your best Frank Welker impression. I don't even care. Pick a person, pick a creature, pick a good sound. I don't even care. Send it in. We're not actually going to give you anything or replace Sean or Matt or myself, but what the hell? It'll be fun.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I'll say this. If you send in a great audition and it's better than what I can do, then you get my spot. Like, that's how this works. Like, I will.
That's not how this works. Not how this works at all. But we will play the spot on the show. I can work that in. That'd be a hell of a lot of fun. So, yeah.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
What the hell, man? Give us your best dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Moving on. Do you guys have anything else in the real world coming up? Sean's going to be doing an unplugged performance of cartoon theme songs coming up this weekend.
Can't wait.
That theme song acoustic style would be hilarious.
It would be sweet. It'd be like very like Dashboard Confessional, kind of slowed down, very very angsty. So emo.
Dinosaurs.
Oh, I can hear it already.
Yeah, I know.
It's so good.
So good.
So good. Unplugged. Do you guys have anything coming up?
Yeah, I'm going to be performing. I'm going to be doing improv comedy in Washington, D.C. this coming Saturday, August the 2nd,
Nice.
At 8 p.m. with Knox. We are doing our own spin on TED Talks called Knox Talks. We've done 4 shows so far in this run of shows, and they have been a blast. So please come and check us out if you're in the D.C. area. You can find tickets on WashingtonImprovTheater.com. That is www.WashingtonImprovTheater.com. And that's going to be August 2nd at 8 p.m.
Cool. Matt, how those stories coming along? Any news on that front?
Yeah, I just haven't gotten around to posting them yet.
Oh, that's cool. So they're ready to go. You're just kind of waiting to time it properly.
Yep, just waiting to figure out exactly how I want to get them up.
Sweet.
But yeah, that's it.
Cool. So since I will say that I'm kind of recovering from a Comic-Con weekend, so you guys, as you're listening to this podcast, are probably all pretty well caught up with Comic-Con stuff, but in case you want to go back and see some of the footage and some of the news and some of the craziness or panel recaps with your favorite stars or directors or writers, head on over to Collider.com. We got a ton of content. I feel like I posted, I'm not even exaggerating, like 100 stories just in the last couple of days. And that's just from me. So, like, there's a lot of stuff over there, guys. A lot to comb through. It's pretty accessible. You can kind of search around and check it out. So head on over there, get the latest on Comic-Con, and we'll have more stuff.
I was a big
coming up from
fan
there.
of your article that you wrote about Mad Max.
Oh, that was cool. Yeah, I posted the, man, this will be a few days old by the time you guys are hearing it. But yeah, the Mad Max Fury Road trailer. It was just nuts. So check that out if you're a fan of the old movies or just want to see what it's all about. But it's insane. It's as insane as some of these cartoons we talked about. So yeah,
So good.
Collider.com. Sean, where can we find you on social media for more info about your improv acts?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Sean Paul Ellis.
And Matt, where can we find you for your series of writings?
On Twitter at MattSF07.
Hashtag bag of sandwiches.
Hashtag
Send bag of sandwiches to him all the times. You can find me at Dr. Claw, MD. You can find more on Saturday Morning Cartoons at SaturdayMorningCartoons.com. And again, spell morning with a U, because much like Sean's favorite Eeyore characters, we are mourning the passing and zipping stuff up. Mourning the passing.
Yeah,
some of these bizarre shows.
Nailed it.
So it's morning with a U. We've also got our Tumblr page, SaturdayMorningCartoons.tumblr.com. You can find us on Twitter at MorningTunes. And if you want to send in those headshots, those audio samples, SaturdayMorningCartoons at gmail.com. Now, very special selection coming up next week. It's not really that special. It just happens to be Matt's turn. Matt, do you want to let the good people in listener land out there know what they're going to be listening to next week? One of my favorites.
Next week's episode will be coming to us from the net.
Oh, boy.
And we're going to be doing Reboot.
Man. Yeah.
Say it again. Sean trumped you.
Reboot.
Say it again.
Reboot.
There we go. I just want to make sure that was clear for everyone. Reboot. Yeah.
Reboot.
So that's what we'll be doing. I'm looking forward to that one because that's a different kind of animation. At the bare minimum, different kind of animation than we've talked about before. So that'll be cool.
Yeah.
Do you not remember that one fondly? I certainly do.
I loved it.
Okay, good. We'll see if that one
I
holds
was
up.
a huge fan of Reboot.
Yeah. All right.
So,
Before we
can't
close
wait.
this one out, I'm going to let Sean take it away with another rendition, including Keytar, of the Dinosaurs theme. Take it away.
Dinosaurs.
Wonderful.
Dinosaurs.
Thanks for joining.
Has the first.
Is it 21?
Geez. It has the first 21 episodes that are up and they're available, and it just says, like, next to each one of them, it just says unavailable.
So does that mean...
if you want, you can add that to your watch list, and I guess whenever they become available, check it out. But in the meantime, oof, man, what a bummer.
Yeah, what a bummer. And I take
What a bummer.
I take the onus for that when I set Sean up. So
No, it doesn't matter. Hey, listen, kids, do what I did. Just watch them on YouTube. Don't pay money for this crap.
Definitely do not. And Sean even
You're gonna-
suggested this one.
Like, really, don't pay any money to watch this show.
Well,
right?
let's get in and tell the people what the hell this show is even about. So
Oh,
I don't
God.
know what, if you hear the word dino saucers, I don't know what you think. Maybe you think saucers like, flying spaceships. Dino is pretty obvious, I would think. You're not too far from the truth there. That's really all it is. Dinosaurs from outer space. It's pretty much what it is. So of course they come to Earth. Now they don't exactly crash land here. They kind of gently hover down, as we see in the intro.
They just sort of like show up.
Yeah, they just show up. They make friends with some
Hey,
kids.
what's up, guys?
Only this group of kids. This group of 4 or 5 kids. And yeah, nobody else knows about them really. They just have their own kind of like weird adventures. So
this is the amazing thing is that throughout the series, they just show up, and like people are like not even like people are either phased by the fact that like oh my god, dinosaurs,
right.
Or they're just like, oh, it's a dinosaur.
Oh, it's a dinosaur. It's
like I get it.
Different.
Like it's like this world is so bizarre because you would think that.
Hello and welcome to Saturday Morning Cartoons, the weekly podcast that revisits, reviews, and ridicules some of the world's weirdest animated series. I'll be your host, Dave Trumbore. Joining me today, as always, from the DC area, Sean Paul Ellis. What's good, man?
David, I'm great. How about yourself?
Oh, man, we're talking about Sean's pick this week, which we'll get to in a second, so we'll see how that turns out for him. Also joining us, completing this fantastic trio, Matt Barron. What's up, man?
What up?
Yeah, good to see you guys. So, without further ado, I'm pretty much just going to turn this one right over to Sean, who's going to take us into the history of... Sing it.
Dinosaurs.
Oh, I thought you were going to sing it.
Oh, wait, did you think I was going to say, like, dinosaurs?
Yeah, definitely.
Like
I was waiting for the keytar, too.
Pretty.
There it is. This theme song, so we posted the theme song on the website. Definitely check that out, because it's only like a minute long. First of all, the intro explains the entire show, everything you need to know, which we'll talk about in a second.
It's nothing but exposition, keytars, and just the phrase "dinosaurs."
Yeah, that's all it is.
Sung in like an '80s glam rock fashion.
It's so good. It'll get in your head immediately.
It is so beautiful.
Oh man! But
so much.
If you've pieced,
other people would have one reaction or the other, but people have such different reactions to seeing these like dinosaurs, and they're just like either they're just like, oh my god, this is amazing, or they're just like, let me see how I can swindle these dumb dinosaurs into doing something ridiculous. And it's so crazy.
So we'll get into that in a little bit once we get to some of the plots, and especially once we discuss the characters. We're going to give you guys a bit of a description of like what these things kind of look like, because they're not just dinosaurs. We'll get into that a little bit, but the basic stuff you need to know. This show follows dinosaurs, the good guys, against the bad guys, Tyrannos. Okay, Tyrannos. They're really pushing the creativity on these names here. They're basically both just kind of like humanoid dinosaurs, so they're not like, they're not the T-Rex from Jurassic Park or from Dino Riders. They're kind of like human-shaped things that look like dinosaurs. All right, so they've all got different attributes and characteristics, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But for whatever reason, they land here on Earth.
All these attributes we should mention are just dumb.
Oh, they're all pretty dumb.
Dumb.
We'll get to them too when we talk about the characters themselves. But basically, they come here from a planet similar to Earth known as Reptilon. Again, really pushing the creativity here.
Yep.
So they're on Reptilon. It's very much a Transformers kind of story where they escape Cybertron. The bad guys are pursuing the good guys. Get together by now. Dino-saucers will be the topic of today's conversation. And to give us a little bit of a history on that, we're going to turn it over to Sean because it's his pick. So take it away.
Oh man! Well, this wonderful show was co-produced by the United States and Canada, and it was created by our friends at Deke Entertainment. Deke.
Thanks, Deke.
It was originally aired in the U.S. in '87. And it went for a total, again, this is a reoccurring theme for all of these shows that we watch, a total of 65 episodes.
Magic number.
Okay, this blows my mind. And it lasted one season, and it was broadcast during 87 to 88.
Well, and here's the thing, it was only like, I don't know if I had this in your show notes, and I apologize for this. Matt and I were talking about it offline. One season, fine. It was literally 3 months. It was from September 14th to December 11th, I believe, of 87, and then it ran a little bit further in 88 as syndication. So
yes.
Yeah, so you're talking...
And it ran daily.
Yeah, you're talking every
months.
Weekday for 3 months in the fall. Dinosaurs.
That is a lot of dinosaurs. It is crazy. Now, I think the thing that Dave and Matt and I had talked about is that we want everybody to please keep in mind that this aired in '87.
Right.
So this is before a lot of, I guess, noteworthy cartoons that people, as we discuss this show, and they're just like, oh, that sounds like a very similar element to this show. You are correct.
Yeah, there's a
and
ton
you
of
should
stuff.
think that way. You should think that. But the interesting note is that this show came out before a majority of those programs.
Yeah, so unless they crossed producers or crossed writers or something along the way. Yeah, it's really strange though. It's really strange to think it came first.
So you can find a majority, the 65 episodes, you can find all 65 of them on YouTube.
Yeah, we'll post them for you guys.
If you are like, man, I need to watch them not on YouTube for some reason, you can purchase the first 21 episodes on Amazon.com.
I got to cut in again because this is completely my fault. I gave Sean erroneous information. This was on their wiki page. I went to Amazon to try to check them out today to see if I could watch one episode for $1 or whatever, just because I couldn't find them.
Oh, really?
They are totally not available anymore. I don't know why. They had them up for
oh my god.
Yeah, they had them for
I saw them up too.
Sale.
Yeah.
Wait, did you actually see them?
No, I saw the link that because I was just kind of googling stuff about this.
Yeah, doing our research.
And there is an Amazon link to. It basically just takes you to the page and says they're not available.
Yeah, it's on IMDb.
You'd want to take
it's
that
everywhere.
link down.
Yeah, you would think. Well, maybe there's not a lot of people clamoring for dinosaurs and complaining.
I guess interestingly enough, I'm looking at the page right now, and you can see that it's a season 1, and it has